Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. We're going to get started here with CEA 201, preparing for your students' return. My name is Alex Henderson, and I am the Associate Academic Coordinator here at CEA, and I will be moderating our webinar today. We have a lot of topics to cover, and we will try to leave some time to review questions at the end, so please feel free to submit your questions using the chat function. Please also mute your mics to allow for the best possible experience for everyone here on the call today. And lastly, we will be sending out a recording of this webinar with all of the submitted questions and answers to all of the questions as well for your reference. So before we get started, I would like to introduce everyone. Obviously, as I said before, I am Alex Henderson, the Associate Academic Coordinator. Also with me today is Elizabeth Cather, our Director of Health, Safety, and Student Services.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be with you.
We also have Shayla Auer, our Alumni Relations Associate.
Hi, we'll be chatting a bit later.
And finally, Alex Hazelton, our Senior Site Specialist.
Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to be talking about end-of-term expectations, re-entry quick tips, what to do about your final account balance, how your students can access their transcripts, as well as some CEA alumni resources. Now I'm going to hand it over to Alex Hazelton.
Hi, everyone. As you're preparing for your student to come home, I just wanted to go over a couple of end-of-term expectations. Right now, your students will be going through finals. They should be making sure that they're double-checking all times and the schedule for their final exams and end-of-term activities. Also, your students should not plan any additional travel until after their program officially ends. Also, students are no longer covered by CHP health insurance after their program end date. Your students should also be checking in with our on-site staff about all checkout protocols and procedures. Also, all of our programs do have a farewell dinner. It's a great time for everyone to meet and talk about the program and say goodbye.
Thank you, Alex. Another little tidbit with that insurance, if your student plans on extending their time abroad and doing some independent travel, please reach out to your student site specialist. They can advise you best on some additional insurance plans. It's very important that your student does carry insurance because accidents can happen, and we want to make sure that they're taken care of, even though their CHP insurance will be ended at the end of their program. I would like to talk a little bit about their reentry and coming home to you, and specifically about reverse culture shock. Reverse culture shock is that challenging transition that travelers sometimes experience when returning to their home culture after an extended stay abroad. While all travelers will miss the fun times they had abroad, whether it's a short vacation or a longer stay, students who have been completely immersed in a culture and adapted successfully to a different lifestyle have an especially challenging time when they return home. Not only do they miss the location where they studied abroad, but now their home, their college campus, their food, the lifestyle in the U.S. feels strange and new to them. As you can see on our little emoji graph on this slide, there is a cultural adaptation scale, and on the right-hand side you can see that excitement about returning home, but then missing other cultures. It can be very conflicting for students. Things that were familiar and comfortable for your student before they left now feel different, which is very unsettling. They expected to feel unsettled when they went abroad and had to learn new ways of getting around and doing daily things, experiencing new food. However, they never thought coming home they would feel unsettled and need to readjust to their own culture. Students may not see the reasons for many of the things they were doing regularly before leaving and may question U.S. culture. They may feel differently about things that are very typical and make statements like, why do Americans drive everywhere? We need more public transportation. We should eat less. We should eat healthier. Work-life balance in the United States is awful. We don't have any traditions in our culture. When your student brings these things up or exhibits a new behavior that you've never seen before, such as wanting to eat much later in the evening, wanting to have wine with dinner, sleep with the windows open, want to walk more or shop daily for fresh food, The best thing you can do to support your student through this period of reverse culture shock is to be open-minded and supportive, and flexible and accepting of maybe their new style of dressing, their new way of eating, or their new approach to life. As a parent, you can better understand the significance of your child's experience and these new ideas by engaging them in conversation. Tell me more about how you managed without a car in Barcelona, or how did that tradition or food come to happen in Prague? Is there something you really miss about France? Tell me more about life in Costa Rica and this pura vida feeling. These conversations may be very revealing of your student's experience, and they will be sharing things with you that are deeper than those Instagram and Facebook posts. This will help you see how your student has grown and developed a more global perspective. While it's possible a few habits will still persist, I know I'm still a devoted hot tea drinker, having developed the taste 25 years ago in my study abroad in Australia. Most students do settle back into their American lifestyle with a newfound appreciation for things like central air conditioning, clothes dryers, and larger refrigerators. And now I'll pass it off to Alex.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about closing out your student's CEA account and what your student needs to do next. There may have been additional fees or course charges and housing damage fees that may have been assessed to your student's CEA account. Your student can see these charges in the Payment Info tab in their CEA account, and also in the Alumni tab. Those fees will be listed there as well. You do need to have, or your student does need to have their account balance cleared in order to receive their transcript and also their security deposit. Also, there is a re-entry evaluation that students do need to complete. Please check with your student that they have finished the re-entry evaluation and anything else in the Alumni tab of their CEA account. Next, we'll talk about some alumni or transcripts and grades with Alex.
Thanks, Alex. So very similar to what she was just saying about closing out your student's final balance in order to receive your security deposit, much is also true for your transcripts. Your student is able to check the status of their transcript in their CEA account, and they can see whether it's been received by us in the home office and if it's been mailed out. It really helps them track where their grades are. Please allow up to 90 days after the student's program end date for transcripts to be released. In addition, once they have been released, as they are sent via snail mail, it can take a few days for them to arrive at the university. And once it does, it can take an additional 2 to 3 weeks for that to be processed by the school and to have those grades appear on your student records. There's a whole team of people, both at CEA and at your student's university, hard at work to make this process as smooth as possible, but we are working on it, even though it may be a little time-consuming. Please do not submit requests about transcript status until 90 days after the program end date. This includes requests for additional transcripts. This keeps the whole transcript process running smoothly for every single student. Please make sure that your student also has a transcript release form on file. Most of your students will have completed this during their application phase. However, some may not have. If they have any questions about that, they can always email transcripts, that's plural, at ceastudyabroad.com. In addition, grade appeals for CEA Center courses only must be received within 60 days of the program end date. Again, this can only be done for center courses. As for our partner universities, they are all going to have their own internal processes that your student can talk with our on-site staff about if they're interested in doing a grade appeal. And while students can see their grades for their center courses on their CEA account, they cannot see the grades from their partner institution on that account. They'll need to use the account that they use specifically for that institution if they were given one, or they can reach out to transcripts at ceastudyabroad.com for an unofficial copy of their transcripts once they arrive. Finally, please make sure that your account balance is 0 and that the re-entry survey has been completed in order to allow transcripts to be released in the most timely manner. I'm now going to hand it off to Shayla to talk a little bit more about our resources that are available to alumni.
Thank you, Alex. The support and guidance continues as your student returns back home. Your student most likely grew close with their center director and on-site staff at CEA. Your student can still be connected with CEA in different capacities in the U.S. There is an alumni relations team at the headquarters in Phoenix, helping alumni further reflect on their time abroad and learn how to integrate their international experience in their academic, professional, and personal life. My colleague, Laura Higgs, and I have both studied abroad, taught, and lived abroad, so we're able to act as a resource to your students as they adjust to their life back home. Feel free to email us anytime. You see in the picture, there's Laura Higgs, the Alumni Relations Manager on the right, and then there's me, Shayla, on the left. CEA offers some pretty cool benefits for our alumni. Alumni qualify for discounts if they decide to study or intern abroad again. You save $500 if you studied for the summer and wish to do a semester or summer program. Many of our alumni have used this discount to go abroad again on an internship in the same location or possibly a different location than where they studied abroad the first time. We encourage alumni to attend Lesson from Abroad conferences. There are around 20 different conferences around the U.S. hosted by industry professionals that help alumni meet other returnees from the area and share experiences from their time abroad. The conference is usually held on a Saturday to accommodate student schedules. Just some examples include topics on going abroad again, resume building, and living an international focused life. You can check out the conference times and locations at lessonsfromabroad.org. We also have an exclusive LinkedIn group for our alumni to stay engaged, connect with fellow alumni, and receive updates on opportunities abroad, professional tips, and employment opportunities. And then we have our Alumni Ambassador program, which I work closely with, which I'll explain a little bit about that. As your student returns home, they have the opportunity to apply, interview, and become a CEA ambassador on their home campus. We have about 100 to 150 ambassadors each semester at different universities throughout the U.S. It is a career development opportunity in which select alumni share their international experience with peers while building their resume and professional network. Through this program, alumni bridge their time abroad and life back home as they learn how to articulate their experience and leverage it in future aspirations. Each ambassador creates their own promotional outreach plan and executes initiatives approved by their study abroad office. Each campus is different, and each ambassador brings a unique set of skills and interests to the position. Their plan is determined based on what they're interested in doing and what they think will help them build the skills they're focused on improving. For example, presentation skills. You can see up in the picture on the bottom left, we have an ambassador doing a classroom presentation, going to the freshman classes and talking about the benefits of studying abroad and kind of how he did it. And so, you know, if other students at his campus would have questions for him, like he'd be able to act as a resource for them. CEA provides training, guidance, and resources to help them along the way, which include bi-weekly Skype meetings, which you can see up at the top left. We have an ambassador, Ethan, attending one of his Skype meetings, which he would attend twice a month. We do not set requirements or quotas for our different ambassadors. We do not dictate what they do as an ambassador, since every campus is different and their involvement and interests vary. Instead, we give them training and support they need to make the position their own. Ambassadors provide study abroad office support, do classroom presentations, like I said, they table at the university and flyer at the student union. They can talk at their Greek houses, at fraternity and sororities, or talk to the different student groups that they're in. They also work on social media projects, like writing blogs, so they can further reflect on their time when they get home. So CEA provides training, which will start next month for our fall cohort. So I'll meet with them around the beginning of August, and we'll go over, you know, the training, and then we'll also send out a box of materials, which will include a t-shirt and different swag items. So they'll have different promotional materials we'll be able to pass out on campus. And then we also offer professional support. We provide career development benefits designed to help ambassadors translate their study abroad and ambassador experience in professional opportunities. Our goal is to help them answer the what now question, what do they want after graduation, and what ways does study abroad and the ambassador position help them get there. How do they find opportunities related to their background and interests? In addition to professional and network and leadership opportunities, we've had 24 ambassadors receive academic credit at their home university, and we've sponsored over 50 students or ambassadors to go to the Lessons from Abroad conference, which I talked about on the previous slide. We've also hired 6 ambassadors here at the CEA headquarters in the enrollment, marketing, academic affairs, and alumni relations teams. And then many of our ambassadors seek to go abroad again in other capacities, whether it's doing a master's abroad or teaching. So we help them different opportunities to pursue. Ambassadors also find that the ambassadorship typically translate well for positions in sales, marketing, and business. The position truly helps your student adjust to being back home. I'm conducting interviews now for the fall cohort, so if your student is interested, encourage them to apply. I'd love to connect with them and interview them. And then our deadline for the fall ambassador is next Friday, July 28th. So if they're interested in applying, you can reach us at alumni@studyabroadcea.com, and we'd be able to send the ambassador application over, or you can go to our website.
Right. Shayla. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of this very quick CEA 201 session. We're now going to take some time and answer any questions that may have arisen from the webinar. And Liz, I think you had something that you wanted to ask before we really got started.
I did, Alex. I wanted to ask a question about the transcript process. How many transcripts can a student request from CEA, and are there any charges for additional transcripts?
That is an excellent question, Liz. A student can request as many transcripts as they would like from CEA. I am more than happy to send out whatever number that our students ask for. Oftentimes when students are applying for graduate schools or jobs that require background checks, transcripts from all the institutions that your student has attended will be required. There is a charge for additional transcripts. Currently, it's $10 for a transcript from just our CEA study centers, and all other transcripts are $25 each. It can take some time to get additional transcripts. It can take up to 3 weeks to get an additional copy of a University of New Haven transcript. That's a transcript for courses taken at the center. And then it can also take up to 2 months to get transcripts from our foreign partner institutions, as they are working on a very different schedule than we are, and we have no control over their process. So if you know that your student is going to be applying for something like law school, dental school, medical school, pursuing a career in the armed forces, anything where they might need an additional transcript, it is always good to get those requests in sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Alex. I would definitely not wait to request the transcript. I would anticipate having some on hand that can be used in case of those applications, especially as students are coming back to new opportunities, lots of leadership positions, many of which Shayla spoke to in her section on the Alumni Ambassador Program.
And I will also mention, Liz, those are just for official transcripts. If your student would like a digital, unofficial transcript, once we've passed that 90-day window, we are more than happy to send those to your student for free electronically. They just have to let us know at transcripts, again, that's plural, at ceastudyabroad.com.
Great information, Alex.
All right.
I would just add one thing as your student is finishing up their summer programs and preparing to come back to their university. Just like we all want to show off our vacation pictures and talk about the great experience we've had, students can find that their friends are busy preparing for the fall term, and that you also have other things that after initially 2 or 3 weeks of talking and listening about their experience, they will definitely want to connect with some of those alumni resources that Shayla mentioned, so that they can still feel heard and understood of how important this experience was to them and how much it impacted them. It's wonderful to work here at CEA with so many young professionals that had their lives changed based on their experience abroad.
Well, it looks like those are the questions that were asked of us, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up just a little bit early. Thank you everyone for your time today and attending the CEA 201 webinar. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email any of the addresses that were mentioned here in our webinar, and we would be more than happy to assist you. And as a reminder, we will be sending out this recording as well as a transcript of all questions asked very shortly after we conclude. So again, thank you all for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day.